Hello and welcome, my name is Kyle FtW and welcome to another Call of Duty Modern Warfare map guide video. In this video, we're going to be covering Scrapyard, which is of course the DLC map that was added into Modern Warfare yesterday. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. So of course I am now on the Allegiance spawn, which you can see here, and this is a basic overview of the map. It is exactly the same as Scrapyard from Modern Warfare 2, 100%. There's no changes, there's no safe spaces, there's no anything like that. It is an exact copy of the map. So this is going to be a pretty quick map guide because of course this map has been in Call of Duty for over 10 years now. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So as you can see, as I mentioned earlier, I am on the Allegiance spawn. The Coalition spawn we will get to here in a minute, but let's go ahead and jump into this guide. So as you can see here, there is a building here, which basically gives you a really good outlook over to the entire map. Of course, I can go right here if I want to with my assault rifle. I can kill enemies that are up there if I want to. Obviously not with the Vector, but there are 4 windows up there that enemies can be hanging out at, which is very interesting. You can also get out, look to enemies that are down there, over there, there, by that door there, down there, and over here. So this is a really good place to be if you want to get a quick, a quick spawn kill, or basically getting, basically just getting a early spawn kill, basically, if you want. This used to be a very popular spot for snipers to go in the early days of Modern Warfare 2. You can also come over here, and again, this just gives you a clear vantage point to enemies that are coming from here. Again, that window is probably better, but you can also jump over here on this window, get a nice little overlook over there and down there by sticking your body out here. But enemies that are down here, for example, can definitely see you. Even an enemy that's probably right here can shoot your foot, so be careful about that. But this is basically the first building where the Allegiance will spawn, so again, be aware of that here. Now if we go over here to this route, I like to tend to go around here just so that you don't get killed. You can basically use this wall as some cover, then you can use this wall as some cover as well. And now we are in this giant warehouse. But before I jump into the warehouse, I believe that there was a ladder here on the ground war map, and you cannot get up here on this version of Scrapyard, which is good. You don't want people camping up there. There weren't people camping up there in the original, so you especially don't want them camping up there now. So now that we are in this warehouse, this is where a lot of the action will be. The B domination flag is right there, just like in the original. But honestly, this area is probably definitely the most popular part of the map. We want to be careful about enemies that are over there. Again, this is a really good assault rifle area, or if you're controlling recoil with the Vector or an SMG, you can definitely get some kills on enemies that are over there as well. But yeah, this is a really good spot. This is very popular. You can sit here to wait for enemies to walk by. Enemies can actually not see you from here. I believe that there was a wall here in the original as well, but you can mount on this wall if you want to. You can also mount here to kill enemies that are coming from that way, and then you can go ahead and move on. There's a little spot right here that you can sit and wait in modes like hardpoint, domination, so on and so forth. So you can sit here if you want, wait for enemies to walk by, and then take them out. We also have this area here, which you can kill enemies. Now, I believe that in the original Modern Warfare 2, that this actually wasn't here. I think it was. I'm about 99% sure it was. But you can actually sneak through here if you want. So, for example, if you see some enemies here, or you see some enemies that are maybe in this building here and you can hear them, you can actually go and be really sneaky, cut through here, run through this door and kill them. Or you can just run through here, come around and kill them like that. But again, even if you're running from this way, you can quickly run through here, get cover, maybe mount your weapon on here if you want, and then move on. So it's a very good spot. Now that we have covered this area over here, we are now officially in the Coalition spawn. The Coalition usually spawns here, so of course you can run this way. But again, be careful, because about right now, you'll be able to get into some action with some people, depending on if they have super sprint on or whatever it might be. So you can easily get into a gunfight here, so you have to be really careful. Again, honestly, I recommend sprinting all the way through here, coming through here, and then killing the enemy. But again, be careful about enemies coming up this stair as well. There's some cover here also, just in case you want to camp there, which I don't recommend very much because you'll probably get killed. Another little interesting thing that you can do is you can jump up on here, jump up on this truck, and then jump up on this. I don't know why you would want to do this. You're basically making yourself vulnerable to the entire map, so I don't recommend coming up here very much. I mean, maybe you can jump up here, get a quick kill, and quickly come back down, but if you jump up there, odds are you're going to get wrecked, because enemies will be maybe camping up there, maybe camping there, and it's just not a good idea to jump up on top of there. I mean, it's just not a good idea. So now that we have covered pretty much the right side of the map, we can go ahead and talk about this warehouse really quickly. Of course, in the original Modern Warfare 2, you could climb up here. You can do that the same in this version of Scrapyard, and of course get Very, very long lines of sight to enemies over there. Good lines of sight to enemies there, there, and there. And then if you want to go over to these windows, of course, you can get lines of sight there, over there, and then over there at that spawn also. So honestly, you could spawn in, climb up that ladder, come right here and get a couple of kills. But again, you're putting yourself at a very vulnerable position here. This is definitely recommended for sniper rifles, assault rifles, and LMGs. Definitely not an SMG, and maybe an MP5 or an MP7 would do good from that range. But again, do not recommend that you stay up there too long. But you can come back down. You can also climb up this ladder here, or this little stairway here, and then get a little shorter line of sight. So this would be good for your SMGs and again assault rifles as well. So there's a little vantage point there as well. Now if we come down here, we are now in this area. And this is honestly not a very popular area. I mean, demolition, there's a bomb site right here. I forgot to mention that over there, there's the other demolition bomb site. So camping on that little crate over there will be really useful for modes like demolition and of course any objective game mode really, even TDM if you want. But again, people will pick up on that very, very quickly. But this area, it's just kind of some empty space. I mean, you can spawn back here if you're on the coalition side. But again, this is basically the same area as the ground war map. If I jump up here and look around, it's the same as the ground war map. Of course, this has already been in Modern Warfare for a while. It was really, really easy to port this over to multiplayer. But again, you can run through here, and I would really be careful about here because the smoke. In Modern Warfare 2, the smoke wasn't as thick as it is in this game. But again, it goes both ways. It's just really difficult to see enemies over here without the red name. Maybe if they're right there, they'll be easy to see. But if you're just looking straight on right here, it's very, very hard to see enemies. This would probably be a really good spot for thermal, in all honesty, because that smoke is so thick. Do I recommend coming here? Yes, actually I do, because there's more black smoke here. But again, you're very, very vulnerable. This is definitely your sniper rifle assault rifle range. You can easily run through here, boom, snipe some enemies that are over there if they don't want to move. But again, by the time you're actually here, enemies will already be here, so not really recommended. So now that we have this all covered here, we can go ahead and talk about this building really quickly as well. This is again a very popular area of the map. This gives you the opposite vantage point to enemies over there, but here instead. So again, just hang out around here. It's a very, very effective way to get to the other side of the map as well. Again, be careful about enemies behind the smoke because, as I said earlier, it's very, very difficult to see enemies there as well. Now, if we want to run all the way through here, we can. And now this is a very nice little area to get a little bit of a flanking route, kill enemies around here, and there you go. And of course, you can also get vantage points on enemies there, and then over here if you want to. But again, you're gonna want to be careful because this just isn't the best place to be, in all honesty. Again, basically the trick of this map is that it's a very, very fast pace, so you don't want to be camping too much. You want to definitely be rushing quite a bit on this map, or you're gonna get killed. There's a lot of angles to get shot from, so just be aware of your surroundings at all times. Simple Call of Duty stuff that won't be in this map guide, of course. Just be aware of your surroundings. And now that we have the left and the right part of the map covered, we can go ahead and talk about the middle, because there's a ton of stuff in the middle that basically makes up 99.999% of this map. So now we can of course talk about this. So this area here and this area here, these are basically just good routes to get into this center area, which will always have enemies in it. 9 times out of 10 I've been there and there's enemies, but again, be careful here because there can be enemies that are up there. And that little tiny ridge there is actually a head glitch, and I'm not sure if you can mount on there or not. We'll see if we can in a minute. But again, just be very, very careful because you may just barely see ahead, and you will you should try and do your best to get that headshot, because the headshot multiplier in this game is very, very high. But again, be very, very, very careful. You can mount here if you want. You can mount here if you want. So again, just be very, very careful. Now, if you come over here into this building, this is one of the most popular parts of the map because you can basically kill enemies from here. You can kill enemies. You can actually shoot through here if you want, which is very interesting. But basically, again, this is basically where most of the action will be because you are right in the middle of the map. I mean, you can be here, kill enemies all the way around here. You can be over here and kill enemies over there. So it's a very, very popular spot. If you want to be in here, you have to be very, very careful. I only have 30 seconds, so I better make this quick. Again, be very, very careful in here as well. Again, this middle area, I don't really recommend running in because you're putting yourself at a serious disadvantage. I mean, there's about 10 lines of sight so you can get shot from here. And last but not least, we'll go ahead and talk about this building really quick. And as I mentioned earlier, I can lay prone here and I can easily kill you. So again, be very, very careful. You cannot mount on anything in here, which I thought you could. And again, if you're an enemy coming from here, you just be very, very careful as well. And there we go. We have now barely covered the entire map of Scrapyard in 11 minutes. Again, these map guides are very, very in-depth. Well, I hope they are anyway. I'm doing this live, by the way. You know, I'm not pre-recording this or anything, but this map is a lot of fun. I really like it. As I mentioned in my gameplay of this map, this is my favorite map from Modern Warfare 2, so I love that it's returned. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for another map guide video here in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. The only reason I didn't cover Hard Hat was just because I wasn't a big fan of that map, but I probably will cover that map here soon as well, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, guys, if you missed my previous video from earlier today, I showed you guys the brand new Spider-Man gameplay, which was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed making that video, so I wonder how well that's going to do, because I'm actually pre-recording this video as well. But anyway, guys, leave a like if you guys enjoyed, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you all in another Call of Duty video very, very soon.